This is Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman.
This is Matthew Valencia, the voice of Robin, Tim Drake.
And you're listening to the DCAU Review.
Hosted by Cal and Liam.
Streaming at DCAUreview.com.
And on your favorite podcasting app.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 381 of the DCAU Review. I am Liam, and with me, as he always is Cal. Cal, we've got another exciting episode of the new Batman adventures to talk about today. And as we'll get to in a little bit, we are not alone for the majority of our episode today. We'll have a special guest correspondent with us, but that'll be in a few minutes here. But first, let's get into yet another early episode and another, quite frankly, drastic redesign of a classic Batman villain to talk about, and much more in this week's episode.
That's right, Liam. This one is one that I've been looking forward to, as kind of I have with each and every one of these new Batman Adventures episodes. But definitely looking forward to this one for a number of reasons here. But we're covering the episode Never Fear, which, as you alluded to, features the debut in the new Batman Adventures of Jonathan Crane's Scarecrow, or is it Jonathan Crane anymore? Does he exist, or is he a zombie man? We don't know. We'll talk about it as we get through here, as we talk about this episode, which originally aired here in the United States, at least, on November the 1st, 1997. So we're just a few weeks past the anniversary of this episode's debut at the original time of recording. And before we get into our own breakdown of the plot synopsis and a discussion of who will be joining us here in just a little bit, Liam, we will, of course, talk about the best way to support the podcast, which is also what sponsors our official IMDb synopsis for this week. That's buymeacoffee.com/DCAU review. That's buymeacoffee.com/DCAU review. The best way to support the podcast. Not only can you support us by becoming a one-time supporter of the podcast, maybe you're just feeling generous, you want to encourage us, you enjoy having guests on the podcast, you want to hear other people talk, whatever, send your comments, questions, thoughts our way. Or maybe you just want to, this holiday season, you're feeling generous and you want to buy us a fresh coffee to get us through our editing process of the podcast. We would greatly appreciate that. You can become a one-time supporter to do so, or if you join us at the monthly supporter opportunity, we have 3 different levels that come with different levels of perks. All of them come with perks, but our top tier level, which is our super friend tier, comes with the opportunity to ask us a question about the episode that we are reviewing, and then we will read your answer on the air. If you are selected, we have another question from one of our supporters this week coming up in just a little bit here. So whether you want to support the podcast and encourage us, maybe buy us a coffee for the holiday season, or become a full-time supporter of the podcast every month, head over to buymeacoffee.com/DCAU review, and please support the podcast today.
Absolutely, Cal. So as mentioned, this is the synopsis for Never Fear, which is written by Stan Berkowitz, directed by Kenji Hachizaki. Apologize if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. Music by Shirley Walker, and animation by TMS. Boy, is it. And that synopsis reads as such. The Scarecrow threatens to unleash a powerful new toxin on Gotham City that removes all fear, leaving its victims unafraid of deadly danger. Complications arise when Batman is exposed to the gas.
All right. That's good. I like deadly danger. Alliteration right there.
Absolutely good. A plus. I'll give it to him.
Wow.
We're pretty harsh on the IMDb synopses for good reason most weeks. So, got to avoid. You got to have some positive reinforcement as well when it's earned. But yes, from there, Cal, we'll get into the episode, and yes, it kicks off in kind of interesting fashion here as we see some of the everyday citizens of Gotham walking through. It's not Times Square. This is another classic. Is Gotham New York City moment here, as there's a very Times Square-esque area where tons of citizens of Gotham have gathered. And as they're walking around, they see a shadow, a silhouette cast over the crowd and across several of the giant neon signs what appears to be Gotham's protector swinging around the buildings of Gotham.
It's him!
Oh, Mommy, who? Mommy, who is it?
Why, that's Batman, honey. Maybe it's not him.
Yahoo! What's his story?
Let's ask.
As the fans start to look up and gather, they're excited to get a glimpse, perhaps, of the Dark Knight himself. And then he goes and this guy crashes. He George of the Jungles it a little bit and crashes right into one of the signs, at which point the people down below begin to suspect, maybe this isn't Batman. And we actually get a look at the guy here, and it's a sort of chubby, balding guy in a shirt and tie and glasses, seemingly having the time of his life, laughing uproariously as he swings around, bumping into signs and sides of buildings, having a great time. It's at this point that the real dynamic duo of Batman and Robin pop up and take a look at it and decide to investigate closer as our mysterious Tarzan wannabe goes swinging into yet another neon sign, a giant sort of, it's like a big neon sign of like a moving arm. Sure, one of those. And not only does he hit this sign, but actually damages it and breaks it, causing power lines below to also snap and fall towards the crowd of onlookers below, who begin to scatter. Batman and Robin to spring into action to save the day and catch the falling debris in a cool sequence we'll certainly talk about in visuals in a moment here. And then Batman confronts the guy, trying to reason with him, telling him, "Hey, let's walk over to that window there, and then we can figure out what exactly has gone wrong with you." But the guy isn't so interested in that, and decides to take a little stroll, and then tackles Batman off a building, and they both go flying. Thankfully, Batman recovers in time to not only save himself but also save this mysterious crazy person that caused all of the ruckus. And as we see him catch the guy, as the crowd of onlookers give a little bit of a round of applause to the dynamic duo, we see a mysterious man and a couple of suited thugs with him looking on a bit sternly. And he heads back to his boss, a mysterious, shadowy figure in a big black brimmed hat. It is not World Wrestling Federation's The Undertaker, though you would be forgiven for perhaps thinking that at the moment. That's right.
And after that, Batman handed him over to the cops. Wasn't anything we could do.
What's the use of providing me with test patients if you're going to lose them? You should have monitored him more carefully.
We tried, but we had no idea your treatment would be that effective.
All the more reason to keep the subject under close scrutiny. We don't want to give ourselves away just yet, do we?
Then we cut to the next day as Bruce Wayne arrives. Bruce Wayne goes to work for once, is what I wrote down in my notes for this scene. Bruce arrives at work fashionably late, so late that his own ward somehow beat him to the office. Tim doesn't drive. How did he get there?
Maybe he jumped on the top of a bus.
That's true. He does get around. He also has to get to the subway later with no plane, so he's getting around somehow, one way or the other. He's a smart kid. He figured it out. But anyway, Bruce's secretary alerts him that Tim's in his office, and also this fella named Seymour Gray, this lowly little clerk working down on one of the lower floors, is demanding to see him. Bruce kind of shrugs that off, thinking of it as just some non sequitur. As he walks into the office, he and Tim discuss the case, and he mentions that the guy who they had grabbed off of the roof the previous night is still in a coma, but it was found out through the police investigation that he has acrophobia, which Bruce, thankfully for the slower members of the audience like myself, points out that that's a fear of heights.
So what have you heard about our Tarzan guy?
Still unconscious. But the police found out something interesting about him. He had acrophobia.
Oh.
It means fear of heights.
No joke? Then why?
You can't put me off any longer, Wayne. I've got ideas. Ideas that are going to revolutionize cost accounting.
Mr. Gray, I presume.
Yeah, that's me, Mousy Seymour Gray. Been sitting at the same desk 18 years, afraid to say anything, afraid of losing my job.
Mr. Wayne, I'm so sorry. I've called security.
It's all right, Sarah. Mr. Gray, now's not really the time.
Oh, gonna try to intimidate me, huh? Well, if you think I'm just gonna crawl back to my desk, you're wrong, 'cause I quit!
And so he quits and decides he's also going to do a little assault before leaving, as he plants a big kiss on the unsuspecting secretary before being pulled away by security. As Bruce kind of looks on astonished, he notices that Seymour dropped his wallet, and wouldn't you know, sticking out of it is a little business card for a seminar that has recently come to Gotham, a new sort of self-help guru, and the seminar is called Fear. And so Bruce heads over to check that out in his guise as we don't get a name check of Matches Malone, but this is Matches Malone, right?
I don't know. It's the word. I feel like, yeah, I don't know. Like Matches. This. He's not even trying to hide anything. Then he should at least worn a hat or something. Like it's just Bruce Wayne
like the
with
thinnest mustache.
Yeah, it's like a Bruce Wayne with a wax like painted on grease paint mustache, apparently, because it wipes off when he goes underwater too. But yeah. So we get Bruce, who's attending and decides to do a little. Why did he have to go as Matches Malone and not Batman? I don't know. But here we are. Yeah, he made the decision to go as Matches Malone.
Yeah, so he listens to a little bit of the guru, who happens to be the same guy that we saw earlier standing in the crowd, as he's giving this big speech about how fear holds you back and how he has a special way that will rob all of these people of their fear and let them start living their lives to the fullest any day now. And as Bruce kind of hears the end of his pitch, he goes snooping around. He finds an office, and inside one of the cabinets is a bunch of this apparent, what appears to be some sort of chemicals. And as he's examining them, the mysterious shadowy figure raises up his staff and knocks Bruce unconscious. And as he comes to, I'm going to put $1 in the bad episode jar. Apologies, but I think these are probably the alligators that used to belong to the Sewer King that he comes across. Scarecrow has rented them.
It's fair.
And threatens this guy, who he somehow still doesn't realize is billionaire Bruce Wayne. I guess Jonathan Crane doesn't read the papers, but or this zombie that is inhabiting the persona that Jonathan Crane used to anyway. But he shoots. He pulls out a pistol. It seems like he's going to end Bruce's life right then and there, but instead he fires a pellet, which apparently contains this no fear gas that works very quickly as Bruce comes charging into the water and gets attacked by the aforementioned giant alligators, seemingly taken to his death, as we see a little pool of red pop up. And Scarecrow has decided that takes care of that, and he can get back to his wicked ways. But only then we see that that blood probably wasn't from Bruce. In fact, it was probably from the poor gators who were just looking for a meal there.
He killed gators with his bare hands.
He sure did. It sure seems like he did, because they float up like belly up in the water. But Bruce is stomping out of the water. He's clearly been affected by this no fear toxin. He immediately, I guess, walks back to Wayne Manor and then barges in the front door as Tim and Alfred are looking kind of shocked. He demands that Tim get suited up and meet him at the bat plane, because now he knows exactly what's going to go on. And let's just say Tim is figuratively and literally being taken on a ride by this chemically enhanced Batman that he's now partnered with.
You gonna tell me what's going on?
It's the Scarecrow. He's developed a gas that takes away people's fear.
No more fear? Cool.
The man on the ledge last night. The one at my office. Imagine a whole city like that.
I see your point. Hey! Gas that takes away your fear? By any chance, did you breathe it?
Yes, but I can handle it.
Oh, yeah?
Robin is holding on for dear life as he goes on, quickly realizing that Batman don't got it, so to speak. He doesn't quite have this under control, but we go to the next scene. We cut back. Batman and Robin are investigating the spot where the fake Tony Robbins / TED Talk was going on, where Bruce Wayne had gone undercover initially, and Batman is there searching for this cabinet that had all these canisters of anti-fear toxin in there. So they get into the office. Batman opens up the cabinet, and once you know it, they are all gone. They're missing, and this is like, I don't know, 40 or 50 canisters that have suddenly disappeared. And while they sort of put together what's going on, the lights turn on, and they have 4 or 5 men facing them, all with guns pointed at them. And our Tony Robbins fill-in here is there and mentions that our guru is mentioned that while things may be here today, they are gone tonight. And it's at this point that Batman and Robin realize that they are in some trouble here. But Batman, because he's affected by the anti-fear toxin, instead of doing something smart, like, I don't know, throwing a batarang or jumping behind a table or something, he just starts walking towards the guys, which clearly catch them off guard. They're not aware that he's affected by this anti-fear toxin, so they are almost caught off guard and don't know what to do. They begin shooting at him. Thankfully, Batman, faster than a speeding bullet, literally, in this episode, he's able to dodge the bullets one by one without them hitting him. Robin, off to the side, realizes that Batman can't keep this up, throws a batarang, knocks the guns out of the hands of one of the guys. They're able to take down several of the goons at that point. And then it's just Batman versus this guru. So Batman grabs the guru by the lapels. He's feeling pretty cocky at this point that Batman can't do anything, doesn't know their plan, doesn't know how to stop it. But of course, even Batman, when he isn't afraid, is able to get the most stalwart villains to crack. But this no fear Batman certainly has a different way of doing things, seemingly, as he ties up our bad guy here and throws him off of the balcony, hanging just by his ankles at this point.
Batman!
Quiet.
You didn't answer my question.
I can't. He'll kill me.
Death is death. Does it matter who administers it?
You're not really gonna...
No!
My question, remember?
He took the gas down to the 72nd Street subway station.
Why?
He's gonna fill the tunnels with it.
Just in time for rush hour.
Help me! Please!
Thankfully, Robin jumps into action, catches the rope, prevents our guru from plummeting to his death. But Robin, after pulling up our guru realizes that something has to change at this point. So we see that Batman is preparing to jump back into the Batwing, and out of the shadows comes a grapple that ties him up and pulls him down to the ground. And who should it be stepping out of the shadows? It is Robin, who is stepping up to the plate at this point, realizing that Batman cannot continue to go on unchecked. So he ties Batman up, takes his utility belt away, and says that he's going to go stop the Scarecrow himself.
This isn't the time for games. Now untie me.
It's no game. You're out of control.
You don't know what you're talking about.
That gas has affected you more than you think.
I told you, I can handle it.
You can't! You're not even afraid to kill. I'll be back for you as soon as I can.
Robin, it's hard for me to say this, but you did the right thing. I was out of control, and you've made me see that.
I did what I had to.
What now?
I've got to stop the Scarecrow.
I can help you. I know him.
But...
Don't worry. You'll be the boss on this one.
You almost fooled me.
Untie me, you little... Untie me!
As Batman shouts borderline obscenities at Robin as he walks away, he's there left tied up as Robin heads to our subway tunnels to stop the Scarecrow. He's able to get there just as the subway rides away, and we see that the Scarecrow is on board and filming a ransom video for the mayor, mentioning that the city without fear is going to create havoc, that fear is the glue that holds our society together. You see, Liam, we live in a society, and that society is apparently held together by fear. And it's at this point that Robin realizes that he's going to have to try and do this all by himself. But unfortunately, wouldn't you know it, that the world's greatest detective is also the world's greatest escape artist and manages to catch back up to the train. So it is, in fact, not just Robin who is quickly overwhelmed by a couple of the bad guys and chained to a pole in the subway before he can stop Scarecrow. Batman arrives, but he's still suffering from this anti-fear toxin. So Robin's chained up. He can't do anything about it. It's Batman who is definitely worse off. He's so not filled with fear that he doesn't bother to check around corners to see if there's anybody standing there. So two of the goons get the jump on him. He manages to hurl them through open windows off the train, somehow not killing them. So at this point, it's Batman and Robin. Robin's handcuffed to one of the poles. Batman and the Scarecrow are the final three that are left on this subway for the culmination of our episode.
That's right. So Batman makes his way across the train, just really laying waste to the thugs that are left, knocking them each out of the train one by one, just dropping them out windows, letting them crash to the ground. I guess it's not a short drop, but I don't think jumping out of a moving train or being thrown out of a moving train is good for your health, if I had to guess.
Definitely not.
But we'll assume these guys live, unlike those alligators. But yes, as Batman makes his way through the train, he comes back to the main, I guess, where the engineer would normally sit, or the driver of the train would normally sit, where the Scarecrow is holed up, right outside the room. Robin is still handcuffed to the seat. He sees Batman skulking towards the Scarecrow. Batman kind of shoots him a very dirty look and then heads in and attacks the Scarecrow. Robin calls out, trying to reason with him, which distracts Batman long enough for the Scarecrow to briefly get the upper hand in the struggle before Batman lunges at him again, wraps his hands around the Scarecrow's throat, and in the process damages the controls to the train, meaning that it is now hurtling way past the final stop and is perhaps heading towards quite a bit of danger. Robin I guess we see how far Tim's gotten in his training since we last saw him, because he's learned how to karate chop through steel. As he does that, he summons all of his might and discipline and chops through the chain of the handcuffs, and is able to free himself. He tries to grapple with Batman, get him off of Scarecrow. Batman fights him off easily. But thankfully, Robin looks around. He sees that the inhaler of the antidote is still nearby and is able to inject that into Batman, or spray Batman with the antidote, which helps Batman quickly snap out of it. However, even with the Scarecrow subdued, the train is still hurtling towards. It goes crashing through these abandoned wood paneling that were blocking the final tunnel. It's coming out and it looks like it's about to fall down into a giant pit where they had, I guess, not finished the tracks yet. And Batman and Robin discuss it. He tells Robin to jump off the train and asks Robin to trust him that he'll be able to get Scarecrow off the train alive. And Robin does as he says with a little bit of hesitation, and Batman is able to jump off with the unconscious Scarecrow at the last second, right before we see the train hurtling off of the tracks down into a potentially bottomless pit, although it's not bottomless because then we get to see the earth-shattering kaboom, as Marvin the Martian would say. Giant explosion as the train goes up. I guess that's the other reason why we throw all the goons off, because otherwise he would have committed more murders in this one. But thankfully, everybody survives, and we get this little bit of a postscript as the sun is beginning to rise on a new day in Gotham. Robin sort of tries to make peace after their argument earlier where he had tied Batman up, but Batman reassures him that Robin did the right thing.
Last night when I tied you up, I didn't mean...
Don't apologize. You were right.
Yeah, but it was kind of scary.
A little fear is a good thing.
And he and Robin walk literally into not into the sunset, into the sunrise, I guess, on this new day in Gotham City as we fade to black. All right, Cal. So now that the plot recap is out of the way, we are about to throw it to ourselves in the future with our special guest correspondent, as we will talk about the plot, the visuals, animation, the music, and the voice acting, and us and our special guest correspondent will give our scores. So without further ado, let's throw it to ourselves in the future as we talk with this week's special guest correspondent. Thanks, us from the past. And as mentioned, Cal, we are here with a very special guest correspondent this week, joining us once again for the first time in a while. It's a good friend of the show, artist Jordan Gibson, joining us once again on the show. Jordan, welcome back.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me back. It's good to be here.
Boy, it's a good one to talk about today, too, especially it's very fortuitous, as we'll talk about here, this specific episode and why you're on here talking about it today. Just some pieces of history recently came into your possession relating to this episode, but this is an interesting one. We just talked about the plot itself. We gave our own synopsis here, so we're bringing you in here to talk about your thoughts. We'll start there with the plot. So this is an interesting one here, the idea that you kind of invert the idea of the Scarecrow. So the guy that is supposed to instill fear in everybody, and what happens when everybody's fear is turned up to 1,000. Seems like the story here is just, we're taking that fear away, which I feel like is an interesting inversion of the character, and a different way of thinking of making a world scarier by having an absence of fear, when you think about it, is certainly a different way of doing things with this character, and one that I thought was it's a pretty unique take. Obviously, this is a story that starts out where it's a little bit of a mystery as to what's going on. We have our Scarecrow. We'll talk in a little bit about a much different looking Scarecrow for sure than we were since we last left him. But it's I feel like as far as the plot is concerned, removing that fear aspect, what type of chaos that could create in the city of Gotham, but then also the fact that Batman, who you don't think of Batman being a guy who is who he strikes fear into people, but he himself being afraid isn't something that I feel like is something that I think about a lot. But the idea that that fear of going over the edge, so to speak, or going over the line to killing people is the thing that kind of makes him this version of Batman is, again, I think a neat trick and a neat way to kind of form this story in a way that feels a little bit outside of the box or what you would normally think of in a Scarecrow and Batman story.
Totally. Yeah, it's great. I love it might be my favorite Scarecrow episode.
I mean, yeah, I don't know that I would. I think a lot of people point to Over the Edge, but that one I feel
That's
like
true.
I feel like though, and we've talked about it in a couple of different episodes, that once the genie's out of the bottle and you realize what the end of that episode turns out to be, it's like it kind of loses a little bit of its luster. It's a great episode, but it loses a little bit once you know the twist at the end.
Yeah.
This one though, it is, this is kind of terrifying. You took this character that was just kind of a goofy little mustache twirling Saturday morning cartoon character, and suddenly he's terrifying. He's terrifying to look at. He sounds terrifying, and then he's doing the opposite of what you would expect this character to do, which also feels uneasy in some form or fashion.
It's almost like he just gave up doing it the one way. How can I just profit off of these people? I'll just take their money and whatever. I don't care anymore.
You think a Tony Robbins stand-in to get to separate and to prey on people who have been so terrorized by him. He's like, look, I'm getting it from both. I can get them both ways. I've scared them so badly and capitalized off of that, and now I'm going to capitalize on that fear that I've instilled in them.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's funny too. Like that's like a lot of it goes back to money in a lot of these episodes with him, doesn't it? Like with Fear of Victory too. It's like, I'm just trying to make money off of this.
Fear of Victory is one of our lowest rated episodes of all time because of the idea. It's a circular plot where he creates fear gas to instill fear into people to affect the outcome of sporting games so that he can win more money to buy more fear gas to then continue this circular plot. But yes, it is funny though that I mean, a lot of the villains, it feels like they if they had like a fiduciary that took care of their money, helped them manage their money in a better way.
Who Two-Face talked to that got him that credit card? Can he like make a referral to the rest of these villains?
We'll talk about on next week's episode. Yeah, the Joker never has any money despite constantly being paid dollars. Like he's just, guys just don't know how to. Money management is not their strong suit.
No, these guys are. How much money is it to make the fear toxin? That must be like such a costly endeavor, I would presume. I don't know.
Those middle canisters have to. You're not getting those off of Amazon.
Yeah, like, that's true. What are you doing? It's 1997. How are you getting those?
I don't know. But yeah, I really do like this episode too. I do think that the plot, even if you peel back some of the how does this happen type of stuff, the idea that you're inverting and subverting the expectation for what you expect for this type of character, the Batman and Robin sort of butting heads, but it's in a different way than we see ultimately in Old Wounds, where it's not the same sort of butting heads that Dick and him obviously went through. It's more of I love Tim in this episode. I know Liam's huge Tim Drake guy. Liam has been well established, so the fact that he's kind of badass in this episode. The fact that he takes down Batman on his own, and then he's like, I'm going to go after the Scarecrow because you can't be trusted, Batman. And that's just how we're going to do things. It's a great showcase for Tim. Also, I feel like this is the first episode that really goes out of its way. Other than the intro to the character itself, but him now fully in the Robin garb and under the mantle there, it feels like this is kind of a coming of age for Tim, really stepping into this Robin persona.
Yeah, Yeah, I think what stood out to me is like how decisive Tim is in that moment where he just it's like no offense, but it's like Barbara would have tried to talk him down, and Dick would have fought him. And Tim's like, I'm not giving him a chance. Like I'm taking him down before he even sees me coming. Like because he's the smartest one. Like that's like in that moment, he has like the decisive action that needs to be done there because he sees the Batman is out of control moment here, and he takes like a more decisive action than I think any of the other partners would have in that moment. So I love that as a Robin
Yeah,
Tim moment.
I like that. I like that read on it. That it's like he is like just really good at taking initiative and like knowing, like, yeah, it's also it's so good. This is so good because it's like, you know, it's his, oh, dad is being weird, like I've got to like I've got to like shut this down immediately, and he does. Yeah, it's like it's, I guess it's, maybe it's, you think it's like kind of a maybe a street smarts thing or something. Like it could also be like, yeah, my dad sucked and I see where this is going and I'm going to cut this off right now. Like there's like he's bringing the history, like his own path to it too, and it's like Batman's being weird. It's like I remember in Iron Man 2 when Iron Man is briefly drunk and he's like playing shooting with the arm or whatever. It's that feeling of you're like, no, what are you doing? Stop.
Right.
Get out of here. What?
Right.
It's so uncomfortable. I don't someone's gonna get hurt or something. And that's this one. It's so great too to just see Batman just go to town on these dudes.
Yeah.
Like unencumbered. It's so funny.
I told Liam when we were doing the synopsis, I said if that line of death is death, doesn't matter who administers it, if that wasn't ripped from like a Punisher comic from the 80s, like that sounds like Frank Castle.
Yeah.
Like,
totally.
like he just morphs into this guy, and it also, the fact that he doesn't have fear, I do like the nuances. We talked a little about it in plot, but it makes him like a worse Batman. Like because he doesn't care. You would think he would jump behind a table when they get caught in that room or like throw a batarang. Instead, he's just walking towards the guys, which initially takes them aback. They're like, why is he just walking towards us when we have these guns pointed towards him? But then later when he jumps on the train also, he doesn't have any fear, so he's not even checking around corners. These guys jump him from behind. It's like the fear that he carries with him clearly makes him a better crime fighter in multiple different facets here. So it's interesting. I think that's a different thing that you wouldn't necessarily think of Batman as a character that carries a lot of fear. But the show's point is that fear does play a healthy part in keeping us all sane and doing things that are that are smart sometimes. So
absolutely.
Yeah, I like the episode. I think it's really good. I do like the ending here that we get to with our characters walking off, not into the sunset, but into the sunrise, as they're walking out of the subway tunnel. And it's sort of you mentioned it, Jordan, like dad and son kind of back together again, and dad tipping his cap to his son, like, hey, you did the right thing. You did all right, kid. Like, that was you didn't do the wrong thing there, and kind of giving him an attaboy. So yeah, I ended up giving plot a pretty strong 8 out of 10 for my score. I do think it's a very enjoyable episode, and I think it's an interesting look and an interesting idea for some of our characters here to kind of flip things on their head. What about you, Liam?
Yeah, I went just 1 point higher at a 9 out of 10. I think this is really strong. Like, I think there's something kind of inherently silly about anti-fear gas that, like, where I'm like, but it is, so it's really all in the execution. And also, like we said, it has these interpersonal dynamics between Batman and Robin that are so interesting to it, and establishing more of who Robin is as his own character, what separates him from the previous Robin we know, or Batgirl or anything as well. And like Jordan said, maybe even like how his pre-Robin adventures maybe inform the decisions he makes as Robin. We see that certainly more in in a couple episodes in Growing Pains, like the heart that he has for kids who are living out on their own on the streets and things like that, and how that his upbringing has sort of informed his his superhero persona as well. So I think that's a really good read of that as well. So I love all of that. And then it's like the first time the Scarecrow's ever been scary. Like
Yep.
there's that thing, just like without the aid of hallucinogens to turn him into like a to do that. It's just like when he just walks into the room, and we'll certainly talk about it in visuals more in a second, but he just has this presence that he never had before, where he was just this spindly little old British guy before. Like now now the Scarecrow's actually scary. So big ups for that as well. But let's hear from our special guest correspondent on your scores, Jordan.
I think I'll go with you. I think I would do 9. Maybe, but it's close though, because I have always loved this one. But you're right that it like anti-fear gas is a very funny idea.
Yeah.
But it is a very strong episode. It's all, I've come to like initially I was always looking for Paul or Bruce or guys like that, but the later, like further in I get, I'm like, man, Stan Berkowitz is kind of one of my main guys. Like he is so good. And also like realizing eventually when I was a while ago, like, oh, he did all of Spider-Man 2, my other favorite show,
right?
Like he was there for all of that too. Like, so yeah, I'm a big fan of that guy, and I think you guys are listening to the JLU podcast, I presume, right? And it's like I love hearing him talk on that one because he's not someone I've heard as much, and he does seem like a very thoughtful guy, clearly, who is thinking about all the stuff we're talking about and really good at finding an interesting way into all of these characters for like the 20th time, and making it something really new and compelling compared to what has come before. So yeah, I think I'll go 9 for this one.
Love that. And then my last thought is the antidote for anti-fear gas just the regular fear gas? Like what does he spray Bruce with at the end there? Is it just does regular fear gas, if you have no fear, just make you normal?
Yeah. What's the percentage on that too? Or like, yeah, I would guess so. I don't know. Yeah.
Fear restoration serum. No, I'm with you on that though. With Stan Berkowitz, yeah, his credits are, it's funny. Obviously, Bruce Timm and Paul Dini, and even obviously Alan Burnett and Dan Reba, all get a lot of the credit, and deservedly so. They all did a lot of incredible work on the show, but seems like Mr. Berkowitz is certainly a bit of an unsung hero when it comes to it. You look at the credits to his name, doing everything from the beginning all the way up through Justice League Unlimited. So
totally.
A ton of amazing stories that are, as you said, very, very thoughtful, and it seems like taking a new spin on this character. It certainly was. It's different. It makes it stand out compared to the other Scarecrow episodes. So yeah, good on him.
Absolutely. And from there, we will move on to the next category, which is, of course, visuals and animation. We have TMS. Thank goodness we have TMS animating this episode. And actually, as we were discussing a little bit off the air, and this is where Jordan's expertise will really shine when it comes to this episode, I think, is not only did TMS do the animation services, but it appears they also they actually storyboarded this episode themselves. Is that correct, Jordan?
They storyboarded and directed as well. So it is full on. You're getting the cream of the crop here, I think. Yeah.
And what's interesting, and why we mentioned this was so fortuitous, is on Jordan's Instagram recently, you were bragging, humble bragging.
I was
humble bragging. That's okay. I would be bragging.
I would.
Too. Yeah. You are in possession of the original storyboards for this very episode. So you have the original look at this show coming together with some really interesting notes from, I don't know, maybe Bruce Timm or a couple of the other people that worked on the show. Some additional drawings and corrections made by Bruce Timm himself. No big deal. Yeah, nothing too important here. But yeah, talk a little bit about how you came into possession of these, and then how that in kind of being able to compare the storyboards to what we actually ended up as our final product here as an artist, as a visual artist. Obviously, I'm sure there's some things there that kind of stand out to you when you're looking at the actual boards versus what we ended up getting, and maybe just some things that maybe would not necessarily be caught by us laymen that would also be a standout and be interesting, to and kind of blow our minds a little bit.
For sure. Yeah, so I just came across these because I think it's from when I was working on Batman. I was just like trolling the internet all the time trying to find whatever I could. And from that I was on eBay constantly. And I don't know, I mean, because they're not, they're Xeroxes. So I got a hold of them. Someone in California worked at WB or something and just had like a trove of Xeroxes of these storyboards.
Awesome.
And yeah, I couldn't believe it was crazy. And they also had Mean Seasons up there too, which is another one of my favorites from this era. And I wish I did it, but it just like, I think because I bought Never Fear, then they put that Mean Seasons up after, and they were even more money. And I was like, man,
of course,
that's Xeroxes. I cannot pay this much for them.
Right.
But so yeah, I've had them for a while, and I finally got them all scanned in. So then when you were like, hey, let's have you on the show, I was like, oh shit, I just did this one. So this is very at the forefront of my mind, and it is just visually one of my favorites. It's like I love this era so much because it is just anime Batman. It's the most anime Batman he'll ever be. Like, it's done by literally the guys who did Akira and worked on Ghibli movies and everything. And like, it's so slick and stylized in such an appealing, cool way. Like it's like, the Jiro Kawada Bat manga is also a really big deal to me. I love that stuff. And this kind of feels like the modern version of that. Like, Tim is also kind of like a little Robin in the same way. He has big white eyes and stuff. And I just love that dynamic and the look of this show. But yeah, so that's how I got a hold of them. They're awesome. It looks even more like you're just looking at anime because of the art style of the artist doing or the two artists. I have their names here as well. Let me see here. But it is Atsuko Tanaka and Kenji Hachizaki. So, but they worked on all the big stuff. But so anyway, that was so cool. You can kind of tell too, like Gotham City at the beginning has like those like same kind of light orbs you'll see in like Sailor Moon's Crystal Tokyo when like from like it's just so like 90s anime.
Okay.
But it's like I love the juxtaposition of those two things. It's like so cool. But yeah, so there were. I had told you guys briefly, like in those. I want to share them. So like I sent them to you already, but I was like, maybe I should just make a YouTube video where I put them over the episode or something. So that'll happen eventually here.
Very cool.
But yeah,
Absolutely.
there are two shots. There's like one part where Bruce Timm drew over the story. There's a part at the end where when Batman happens upon Robin in the train, I think the storyboard artist had Batman do like a shh with his fingers. And then Bruce Timm's note was like, no, it's not that. Batman walks by and he scowls at Robin and keeps walking.
Great note.
Yeah,
because they're not on speaking terms at that point. He just escaped from being tied up by Robin. Why is he going to tell him to shush?
And then he finds him. And he's like, "Yeah, this is about right here."
Told you.
Yeah.
Should ask for my help.
Yeah, exactly. So that was great. That was like such a good, like, oh yeah, of course. And then the other one was just there's a little head. Like, he'd like suggested a different face for the Tony Robbins type guy. That was the two. But yeah, it was really cool to see like just that. Like, I've never seen a full episode's worth like that. And
yeah,
when I was doing the comic, like I was looking to the TMS episodes a lot for how I wanted to try to make it feel. I wanted to make it feel like one of those.
Yeah.
So I was watching Never Fear and Mean Seasons and a couple other ones like on loop basically. So anyway,
that's awesome. That's
so
great.
yeah, I so it's I would have to probably go with a 10. I'm gonna.
It does look, yeah. I mean, from just little things like one of the things, and they established this in Tim's first episode, but Tim's great with the batarang. That's like his.
Yes. Oh, that's
and
right.
and there's that sequence where Batman's gonna get shot,
Yeah.
like, and then Tim hits the batarang again and knocks it
Totally.
off the guy's hand, and we follow the batarang as it hits
Yes.
the guy's hand and then flies back to Tim's hand, and he catches it in like this amazing pose.
Yep.
I was like that sequence. I was like pumping my fist during that. I was like, that's
Totally.
It's like one of the coolest Robin moments of the whole series, I think.
Absolutely agree. 100%. That was one of the things I love when it's blurry like that. And that scene, I was like pausing that to try to get the drawings right for the way like it kind of has like that motion blur on the batarangs and stuff. So like that and a couple other times, it's like I love that shot so much when he flips that thing around and catches it. It's so cool. Yeah. Yep.
Absolutely. That stood out to me. And then obviously the train itself, how it moves towards the end as it's picking up speed and smashing through the barricades and all of that.
Yes.
Right to the end when you get the big mushroom cloud. This looked like I think I'm pretty good after doing this show for like 8 years or whatever we've done now at picking out when it's a new explosion versus a reused one. I think this was a new explosion that they did for this one.
I bet so.
Yes, I believe so too. No creeper. This is before the creeper explosion.
Yes, no creeper, no that one toy man one that always blows up.
Oh yeah. That must have also, I'm sure that maybe the Toyman one was a TMS explosion too. So they're just going to be,
they love it. They're like, this is perfect. Why are we going to try and do something different?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Coco can't do this, so we gotta do this. No offense to Coco, but yeah, no, that whole sequence with the train at the end, and then I feel like one of their tricks with this almost feels like, again, I think we talked about your art being like this amalgam of the TNBA but using more of the shadow work of the original animated series when you did the Adventures Continue. And I feel like there's a lot of like guys moving in and out of silhouette in this episode as well, which made it gave it more of the old school BTOS feel, even though we're in the TNBA era. I feel like there was more like shadow and cell shading than your average TNBA episode. Like the color's a little less flat in this one.
Yes, I could see that. Yeah, like when Robin comes out from the shadows and stuff. There's a little bit more of that in the storyboards too. There was some more high contrast shots than were in the episode even too. So that was cool as well. Yeah.
Speaking of the shadows, and I think this is a good segue to this, but one of the first sequences that we get with shadows is the introduction of our Scarecrow, who's sitting at the table, and you just see these beady white eyes in the shadows before he leans out. We were doing our research before, and maybe Jordan, you have come across it, but we were trying to get an official, like, who the person was that did the redesign of Scarecrow, where there's like a little featurette that seems to assign it to Bruce Timm, but there's nothing that I was able to find that definitively said that Bruce did the turns, or whether that was Shane Glines or one of the other, Glenn Wong or one of the others that did it. But let's not bury the lead here. Let's talk about the redesign of this character. We've already alluded to a bunch of times here. He had two different designs in the original BTOS run, where obviously you have like the classic, what was the standard at that time, just sort of man with a bag on his head look for that first episode, and then that sort of graduated to the jack-o'-lantern underbite look for the Scarecrow, which, while it was like creepy, and certainly when we were kids, we were not allowed to watch certain Scarecrow episodes.
Really?
Nightmares. But ultimately, that pales in comparison, I feel like, to this character that, in that featurette that they talked about. Paul Dini's like, we don't even know if there's a guy in this costume anymore. He's an undead, like Southern preacher man with a noose around his neck and a Texas Chainsaw Massacre mask. Like, he's a zombie. Like,
Is it a mask also?
Yeah.
Is that fair to ask now? Like,
good question. That's a good segue, actually, to our question of the week, which comes from our supporter, Zach. You can go to buymeacoffee.com/DCAU review. And he actually asked specifically for us to talk about our fan theories on, is this the same person, first of all, from Batman the Animated Series, and kind of what happened here. So let's talk about it. Thoughts on this. I mean, this is widely considered, I feel like, to be, out of all of the redesigns of the villains, this is widely considered to be the best, if one of, if not the best redesign that there was. And I would agree at this point that this character looks so much better and scarier, even if he's not quite a Scarecrow anymore.
Totally agree. Yeah, I would guess it's Bruce Timm, just because it is so couched in, like, yeah, like you're saying, like Texas Chainsaw and like horror, like retro horror and stuff. Like the Southern preacher pull just kind of feels like a thing he would do. But did you guys see that they're coming out with that horror book of all of his, like, there's like it's a Flesk Publications. They're the ones that did his Babe books. They're doing the one that's like monsters.
Oh, nice.
That is coming out like imminently. So if anybody listening has any interest in that, I think if you go to Flesk's website, you can pick that up.
Nice. Definitely gonna do that. But yeah, it does feel like it's a. I mean, he doesn't. In the featurette, they were like, I think Alan Burnett says, I think Bruce was the one, and then they cut to Bruce like talking about it. So I'm going to assume that at that point that means it's Bruce. He didn't deny it at that point. But yeah, this thing's creepy.
Yeah, totally.
Upgrade.
Yep.
Yeah. I guess that's where we get into like fan theorizing. I know there's. It's funny, we were talking a little bit about Ninja Turtles off the air. There's a BTOS / one of the Ninja Turtle cartoon tie-in comic that came out a few years ago that has like a semi explanation, because I think there's a jump where it goes from like the BTOS era to the TNBA era in that comic, and there's a point where like you see Jonathan Crane like drawing designs for his new costume, and it's the TNBA suit. It's just like, that's kind of cool, but I'm like, do we think it's that? Do we think it's the same guy? Is he on like stilts in that thing because he's also like taller and like beefier now? Or is this like, has there been like some mysticism at work here? Like, what has this guy done to himself? Like,
yeah, totally. I think I want to say the Watchtower guys had posted a thing about it a while ago, and that there was like there was some email from someone that was either Ty or Paul Dini or Dan Slott, even maybe from the later Batman Adventures run. But I want to say that it's what I remember, it was something like he like basically kind of like a Looney Tune blew himself up. Like he was doing fear toxin experiments, and he just got like bombarded like Green Goblin in the 60s comic or something. And he's just a even creepier guy now, and a freak. and that's what we're I think
maybe it's a mask that got like melded to his face, like he got chemical burns, and the mask is like just one with his.
I like that. Yeah, that's cool. There, I want to say there's a picture too or something where he was like some kind of drawing from somebody, or maybe that was just like in the email.
Okay.
That's like, I can half remember this, but something where he like his eyes were really big and wide, but he's like all disfigured from it. So maybe that, it could be that. I like the idea of him kind of like, having stilts or something with that too, but it seems like he's just mangled now from whatever happened to him. So it's awesome. It's great.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with like some sort of. I like the idea. Maybe he had the idea that he was gonna do something scarier, and then had some terrible lab experiment disfigured him and caused him to fuse with this new experimental costume, like a Goosebumps thing, like with that green Goosebumps.
Yes, totally.
Like now he's just one with the mask. Like it doesn't come off. Something like that. Liam, you got any different thoughts than Jordan and I kicking around here?
I mean, just for fun, let's get it like unnecessary, like Phantasm being an epilogue. Let's just make it unnecessarily fan servicey, and be like he made a deal with Hades.
Okay,
and Hades turned him into this monster. I don't know. That's
I like that.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
His trade off was the recipe for the anti-fear gas.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yes.
You got the recipe.
Yeah.
But he also ended up looking like this mangled monster man.
That I like how he was making that there's like an explosion or something, or I don't know. Yeah. That's pretty good. Pretty good.
Some good fan theories there. If you have a fan theory, please make sure you hit us up at DCAU Review. And thank you, Zach, and all of our supporters at buymeacoffee.com/DCAU Review. If you want to join Zach and the rest of our supporters, head over there and become a monthly supporter to hear your question answered here on the air. All right, so we have Jordan, who gave his score 10 out of 10. Liam, where are you at?
Yeah, I think I'm going 10 as well. I just, like I said, I love all the silhouette stuff. There's even, I think when Robin has Scarecrow down, like one of the thugs walks out of the shadows to give him like the axe handle to the back or whatever, the double fist punch to the back. I love that. Love that as well. And then for all the reasons we already talked about, just like how fluid everything is. One of my hallmarks for good animation, longtime listeners know, is cape movement. Mm-hmm. And when Tim opens the side door to jump off the train and he looks out and it cuts to this like POV shot of the train speeding towards the pit. And then it cuts back to him and his hair and his cape is all blowing in the wind. I was like, this is so cool. This looks so good. So I think based on just the fluidity and the unique, especially I think for a TNBA episode, some of the kind of flourishes they put on there, I'm gonna agree with Jordan and give it a 10 as well.
Nice. I just went 1 point lower. I went a 9 out of 10. Sorry to break up the party. I feel like I had to go 1 point less, and maybe this should have gone to plot, but the idea of Bruce Wayne's disguise being just a mustache that comes off underwater is a little bit ridiculous to me. I wish they had done something a little bit different for Bruce's disguise. There, change his hair color, something.
Yeah. You know what? That is always the thing that bugged me growing up about this episode.
Scarecrow's like, who are you? Like, he doesn't like,
he's just Scarecrow's just not with the time. Didn't he? The first episode he deals with Bruce Wayne exclusively. Yeah.
I would think maybe something in the accident affected his vision, you know? Maybe those beady eyes just don't see like they used to, so he doesn't.
Yeah, he's like, you're not Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne has black eyes and he has a brown and yellow suit.
Right, exactly.
This is not Bruce Wayne at all. Yeah.
No, but there's a lot of great stuff in this episode. I was going to talk about some of the fight sequences too, especially on the train at the end. Jordan, we talked about it last week. You know, we're in the new Batman Adventures era on the Kids WB, where we get to show a little bit more violence here. So we get to see fists connecting to stomachs and fists connecting to face. Batman gets a really, really badass Sparta kick out of the back of the train, which even with the flashbang, you see the foot come at it and then the guy fly out of the back of the train. It's a good shot. Some of the him flipping the guys out through the windows on the train is great. It reminded me of like old episodes of the Wild Wild West where you would see like, you know, guys fighting on the train, or any other Western where guys are flying out of the windows on a train. I thought that sequence was coordinated really, really well. And then we get a second episode in a row here with blood being shown, although it is the blood of the crocodiles.
Oh, that's right. That's true. Yeah.
Batman killed crocodiles with bare hands. But yeah, interesting that we get to see that here. We get guns pointed at the screen. We get a lot of stuff that we could not have done back in the BTOS days. So there is a lot of great smooth animation here that very clearly makes this stand out as a TMS episode. So really strong scores from us, even if it wasn't all unanimous 10.
Absolutely. And last note, I will just say, we've talked about this before, Jordan, on the show. Gotham is sometimes just New York City, and so they're in Times Square at the start of this episode, which is neat. Like, it's fun.
Totally agree. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, that was actually the thing I was checking, checking that in the storyboards too. Like, oh, where did this? I think actually there's there in the part where that guy, he swings past a billboard that says like I think it says the man in it, and it's a big yellow billboard. But I think in the storyboards it says BULE man. So I was like, was it Blue Man? And and he like flipped the letters around, or like what was the? Because I'm trying to think of like what the, but because yeah, his storyboards are just slightly different for what the signs are and stuff. So there's that, and then the other thing, actually going back to that really quick, matches Malone looked like that in the storyboard. So I was like, was it just him and they didn't change it? Like maybe he just put a mustache on him and called it a day. Because the train looks the same too. Like his train design is the design in the episode. So maybe that's what it is, but I don't know.
Love that.
Yeah.
Insight. Thanks for sharing those storyboards. Look for Jordan to be sharing them with the greater public here soon.
Yes.
If he does an animatic there, we'll be looking forward to that.
Totally.
Absolutely. And from there, we will move on to music. I believe we have Shirley Walker to thank for this week's score. And I'm talking a lot about Robin in this episode, as I want to do, as the Robin theme in this episode kicks 12 miles of ass.
Yes.
Like it's so good in this. It's so good in this episode. And when it's used, and much like the Shirley Batman theme, which we also get a little bit of, it's used in these different keys to reflect the emotion of the scene. When he's walking out of the shadows, when he saves the guru guy from almost dropping to his death, like this is like a really, like, I feel like a lot of my notes were Robin centric, and that includes my music thoughts this week.
Nice. Yeah, no, totally. I agree. I mean, that's the thing about this episode too. It's just like, these guys can do this in their sleep at this point. And it's just like a super, like, just rock solid episode. Like everybody knows how to just kill it, walk in and kill it. And that is absolutely Shirley Walker as well, obviously. Like, come on. Yeah.
She's great. That sequence when he walks out of the shadows and the Robin theme plays, and then it continues in the next scene. I was like, and it's really neat that we talked about how in the original BTAS run, Dick Grayson Robin didn't really have like a true theme that kind of played or that was memorable, but this one, with the introduction of this Tim character, and then bringing that back here, it's like, oh wow, there's an actual like Tim Drake Robin theme that we go back to multiple times, at least here. We're 6 episodes in or whatever to the TNBA run, but it's like, wow, we have a theme and we can recognize that theme as it plays here, and it punctuates that sequence of him tying up Batman, and then you see like who's, is it the Scarecrow that's tied him up? Who is it? No, it's Robin who steps out of the shadows, and his theme just like blaring. It's so good. I liked that. I will say, so obviously I did not hear the previously established like Scarecrow theme that we had from BTAS, which to me, I think that one sort of matched the look of that character and that the voice of that character. This one, I feel like if they had gone with that traditional Scarecrow theme here, it would have maybe undermined the creepiness of the vocal performance that we'll talk about here. It felt more ethereal. We had more like, just kind of like tones and just kind of feelings. There's like, when Bruce goes to break into the office, there's like this weird, almost like didgeridoo sounding instrument that plays. That makes just kind of like this weird sound. But I feel like that was necessary in this point, rather than going back to that more like recognizable theme. Again, as you pointed out, Jordan, they're obviously professionals that have been at it for many, many years at this point and won many awards by this point. So doing this in their sleep, they're like, it's not a surprise that Shirley was probably like, you know what, this theme doesn't quite fit this redesign for this character, so let's go with something a little bit more traditionally creepy versus an established theme. So I ended up giving music a really strong 9 out of 10 for the episode. I think it plays really well. I think there's some really good memorable moments here, but the Robin theme to me is the one that stands out.
What about you, Jordan?
It's between a 9 and a 10 for me. I always, like last time I gave everything straight 10s. It's just tough to not, I gotta
go with your gut.
I think I'm going 10. I'm gonna go 10.
Yeah, let's go.
Heck yeah. I love that. Yep, always go with your gut, we say. But
Yep.
but yeah, I'm also going to give it a 9. I think it's I think it's really really strong stuff. Like I said, the Robin theme kind of carrying a lot of the emotional beats of the episode. I think are is a really cool bit there, and even the music at the start when the crazy guy is like swinging through the not Times Square. There's like this almost like kind of like waving flute or something that's playing, like some kind of horn that's going with him along with the strings, that I think is kind of a fun, where it's creating this like what his attitude is, like he's having the time of his life, and then that's once Batman and Robin enter, then it becomes like the more dramatic, like the horns and stuff start swelling when when you realize, no, actually this is a big problem. So I like the way they kind of ease us into it there. So a lot of cool little bits in there as well. And that will move us on to our final category here, which is, of course, voice acting. Not a huge category to talk about, but we will go through each and every one here.
Yes, that's right, Liam. Not a huge cast, so we do get credits for I believe it's the mother and the child at the beginning of the episode that are looking up, thinking that it may be the Dark Knight, only to be wildly disappointed as our man crashes into the sign, and that is the voice provided by Pamela Adlon. So she has some voice acting credits. She's in King of the Hill, Phineas and Ferb.
She does, I think, play the secretaries as well as.
She does.
That's true. Yeah. I was wondering.
I think she's the only woman in the cast, unless that's like Andrea Romano or somebody. But
she does have the credit here on IMDb as Sarah. I believe Sarah is the secretary, right?
I didn't realize that was her, because I love King of the Hill and I love Bobby.
Oh my gosh! Oh, that's the son. Okay, this is us showing our ignorance of that.
Oh wait,
that's another one. Like, as we just recently rediscussed, like Dan Castellaneta is doing like minor voices in some of these shows too.
She's Bobby Hill. How did she's Bobby.
I didn't notice until you pointed that out right now. Like, oh yeah, that's Bobby. Yeah.
Unrecognizable. Doesn't sound like Bobby Hill, that's for sure. But yeah, that's a funny little note there for sure.
Yeah.
We then
it reminds me of how like Dan Castellaneta is just doing like Priest or Howard's mom and Howard's dad and Terry's friend dates a robot, like one of the biggest voice actors on the most famous cartoon in the history of the world, and he's just he's got 2 lines.
I actually watched that one again recently, and the part where he yells at him at the end is like he's like 80% Homer right here, like
Easily one of the best lines in the history of the DCAU. What did you do? Dynamite to blow up our house with? So good.
The best.
Very funny. All right, well, yeah, that's a name that we weren't expecting to see here, but shows up here. Not a lot for her to do, but it is certainly fun to note. We have Ken Berry, who's voicing Seymour Gray. He doesn't have a lot of lines, but he certainly gets to emote a whole lot there in his role there. He also is someone that he's in the movie The Cat from Outer Space. He's also in Herbie Rides Again.
Yes, that's so funny. I actually, when I was little, was obsessed with Herbie. That was like one of my first.
No way.
Yeah, like pre-Batman, it was like Herbie.
We have you on this episode.
I know,
absolute perfect episode for Jordan Gibson.
I had no idea. Yeah, I mean, I did not watch the second one as much as the first one, obviously, but I had no idea that it was him. He's the main character of the second one.
There you go.
So that's very funny. Okay, cool. Wow.
He's very dynamic in this role. Obviously, he gets to be very over the top, and he's yelling at Bruce Wayne, and he's getting to promote a whole lot of goofball. He's on the anti-fear gas max plan here. He's taking the overdose at this point. So he's really gets to show a lot of emotion in his line though. So very funny in his delivery there. We also then have Charles Rocket, who's playing our guru, our Tony Robbins want-to-be here. And it's interesting because if you look at Mr. Rocket, he kind of resembles, I feel like, our guru just a little bit. He's got a big, strong jaw.
Yeah, he's a handsome guy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was in Dumb and Dumber. and he was also in Hocus Pocus, Dances with Wolves, and Titan AE. So he's got some movie
Big
credits.
four.
That's right. The big
He's also the narrator in Yu-Gi-Oh! The movie, according to this from 2009.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I see that. Okay.
Still making some stuff, and then he also was in an episode of Static Shock. He played Crew Cut in that one. So very interesting there. Some other DCAU credits, a lot of other voice acting credits. He's interesting because he gets the Tony Robbins bit where he's like doing his sales pitch to this crowd. He also has the bit where he's talking with Scarecrow and kind of being read the riot act. And then he has this little bit with Batman where he's super cocky, and then all of a sudden he has to emote just absolute terror and fear for like 5 straight minutes.
Yeah, when when Batman cuts the cord,
right?
He's like, "Ah!"
He's great. Like I believe that this man was in fear of his own life at that point. Like I totally bought that he was falling off of a building and was gonna die. Like really good stuff there from Mr. Rocket.
I see here that he was also a voice on Men in Black, the TV show, and so I'm like, oh, let me see who. It doesn't.
Around the same time. There you go.
Yeah. I can't. I'm not good at navigating the IMDb app, but
it's not fun.
No,
it's not very.
Yeah, it's like it just for a lot of these it says the name, but then for Men in Black it just says voice, so I can't click through there. But anyway.
Yeah, so I think he did a really good job for what was asked of him, to be honest. Like the fact that he has that whole scene of him screaming in terror, being afraid of Batman, playing off of Kevin Conroy. I think he's really good.
Yeah, totally agree. And he like you said, the switch that he has to flip from like smug, like he's slimy as all heck, but he thinks he's untouchable, to that moment where he's like, oh, I'm gonna die. Like he has, and that switch that he has to kind of flip there, he does a great job with that.
Right. And then briefly, we have Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. as Alfred. And as I believe, it's interesting, IMDb credits Mr. Rocket as our quote unquote fearless man at the beginning, but I'm pretty sure it's Ephraim Zimbalist Jr.
It is. Yeah,
who's doing the fearless man. That does not sound like sounds like Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. doing the voice.
It does. Yeah.
I'm gonna credit him with that, and honestly, that's the bigger part that he plays. He has like 2 lines as Alfred in the Batcave, interacting with Batman and Robin. So not a ton for him to do, but I feel like his tour as the quote unquote fearless man at the beginning, especially when he questions Batman, who is trying to pull him back off, literally pulled him off the ledge. You know, what are you talking about? I'm having the time of my life. Then he goes over and dances, and he's making noise.
Oh yeah.
Very funny, very good, unsurprisingly. But maybe coming from a unique character, we wouldn't expect him to be necessarily voicing there. But it's funny that they just cast Mr. Zimbalist Jr. as our fearless guy there. Then we get to our main event here. We'll talk a little bit here. I guess we'll go with Kevin Conroy first, because I guess he has not a ton compared to our other two, and we talk about Kevin Conroy every single week anyway, deservedly so. But I think it's interesting here because he does get to do like the fake accent when he's playing Matches Malone or whoever the mustachioed man is. He's got his sorry, I wasn't trying his New York accent. I wasn't trying to move in on your business.
Operation.
His Brooklyn, his New York Brooklyn accent or whatever it is pretty funny to hear. And then he is a jerk to Robin almost like immediately after he's affected by the fear toxin, but it's barely noticeable compared to the new Batman Adventures Batman, who's just he's angry anyway.
Just a little extra condescending,
100%.
He gets to yell at him, which is the like I was almost waiting for him to start doing like the Looney Tunes or like the Lobo like fake swearing at him. He's so mad and he's shouting so loudly, like in that moment, untie me, you little, like
I guess he was going to call him a little You call him? Yeah.
Right. I assume so. Yeah. I do like the juxtaposition too of just the couple lines before where he's trying to like soften his voice and he's using his like calm Kevin Conroy voice to like try and woo Robin to believe
Your
that
manipulator.
right.
Yeah.
And then when it doesn't work, he just loses it all over him. It's really great. Unsurprisingly, a really strong performance from Mr. Conroy there.
Yeah.
I guess we'll talk about our main antagonist for the episode, and that is Jeffrey Combs, debuting as the Scarecrow. So, of course, DCAU fans will know Mr. Combs later on in his turn as the Question in Justice League Unlimited. But he is, of course, a well-known, I would say, cult classic B-movie actor. I think The Reanimator, I think, is one of his cult classic movies that he's most famous for. There's also The Frighteners that he was also known for, and then I know he's done a ton of Star Trek stuff. A lot of if you Google him or search on YouTube, almost every interview with him is about Star Trek. So a lot of Trekkie fans are familiar with his work also. But as I mentioned, DCAU fans are going to know him for his later turn as the Question. And this is one of those things where it works perfectly for the character because he does sound creepy and he sounds scary. And in that little featurette about the Scarecrow, they talk about Andrea Romano specifically talks about how when they heard his performance, they were like, yes, that's what we're going for with this redesign, creepy, spooky, like he's not this over the top sort of, as we mentioned, Saturday morning cartoon character anymore. He's this scary monster man. Unfortunately, though, it is pretty much the same cadence and voice that he then later does as the Question. So it's a little bit difficult to separate the character just because of how impactful that was. However, I think, you just kind of, it's one of those things. It's Ferris Boyle and the Joker,
Yes.
You just kind of deal with it and you kind of, okay, they just happen to sound alike. That's fine. That's not saying anything, I feel like, against Mr. Combs' performance here because he is creepy as hell.
Yeah. It's kind of, it is kind of like they both work. It's the same kind of thing you would need. We need a Question and Scarecrow thing now.
Yes.
An episode.
100%.
Him
like
interrogating the Scarecrow for 22 minutes.
That would be the equivalent of that Justice League action with Mark Hamill trapped in the
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And Jeffrey Combs is going to like a Reanimator convention.
Right. Love that. Yeah. But I love Mr. Combs. I love his, I have a gigantic soft spot for his performance as the Question and that Question character in Justice League Unlimited. And I think the fact that they went with somebody completely different, in recasting this character was kind of bold, and it's not something that they did a whole lot of. Did it with a couple of different characters, obviously, but not a ton. But I think you had to do something different here, and his performance is definitely creepy, spooky, scary, and drives home, especially when he's giving that like monologue at the end in the camera to the mayor, like when he's filming that and it's just him on the train. Just that's really great. Like it comes across as just like this soulless being, like undead man in the way that he's delivering those lines. He's just very emotionless. He does not care. He's just ready to unleash chaos in Gotham City. So yeah, I love Mr. Combs' performance here.
I think they put some maybe a little bit of an effect on his voice too, which is maybe what helped me settle into it a little bit. Like there's like a slight echo to his voice when he speaks. I think that, that helps maybe differentiate it from, and just because he's so even keeled as Scarecrow, relatively speaking, compared to where, I think like when I think of his moments, it's the Question. I think of like him shouting at Superman and stuff like that, like in the Watchtower and going to strangle Lex Luthor, like how
or
some of those
singing that song too when he's breaking into the
the K-pop song. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So I think maybe the voice refurb, along with him keeping it a little bit more even keeled in his delivery and letting it really is like a visual first character now, but his performance. And then my other note that I put, I was like, sometimes when you have someone that's like struggling to breathe or something, you can assume maybe like somebody else did that, like one of the other like minor players who's more like a more accomplished voice actor did. I was like, that really sounds like Jeffrey Combs gasping for breath when Batman's strangling him at the end.
Yeah.
Like I bet he knew how to do that himself. Like
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
He did a lot of horror movies, so I feel like that comes with the
Yeah. He's right at home here. Yeah. Totally.
Absolutely.
There we go. And then rounding out our order here, of course, is friend of the show and recent contributor here to this very podcast, Mr. Matthew Valencia, playing Robin. As we said, this is really a coming out party for him, really establishing this character. Obviously, he's made a couple of appearances, had the introduction to the character earlier in the series here, but this is really his show for a lot of it, in that he has to kind of stand up to Batman, establish himself, and really kind of take the reins here away when the Cape Crusader's out of action, whether he wants to or not. But I feel like the scenes that he has, both the scene where we first see him introduced and he's swinging on the chair, like doing a handstand on the chair, and that little interaction that he has with Bruce about being on summer vacation, and then Bruce looking at him dumbfounded and being like, "Oh yeah, I forgot who I'm talking to." Like, that delivery is great. And then the little back and forth that he has with Batman, of course, after he gets tied up, and him coming to terms with the fact that Batman is losing it, screaming at Batman that he can't kill this guy, and then even the little bit at the end of him back and forth with Batman saying, I'll take care of him. What? Like that.
Yeah.
The surprise reaction there is really great too. And then there's a little dialogue, little dialogue at the end between the two of them walking into the sunrise, I think is really good. This is I feel like a really good episode for Mr. Valencia, and he shows a lot of fun, and for an actor that was so young, doing this role, it feels like he settled in pretty quick. What did you think of his performance, Jordan?
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, I love Tim Drake. He's great, and I love, like, no other voice has really appealed to me for young Robin as much as his does. I mean, I'm so biased, but
Yes.
but I love the flashback episode with Dick is great. Where like Robin's Reckoning, that's very good too. But he's not actually Robin yet,
right?
But yeah, I love him in this. I love. I would say this and Growing Pains are probably his two biggest episodes, right? And they're both super strong.
Yeah.
Tim Drake got a lot of really good episodes.
Good.
I know that Growing Pains also was originally, I guess, was going to be a Dick Grayson episode, but it was held over into this one, and I prefer it that way. I think it's so much stronger and resonant. And but this one is, I mean, and then Never Fear as well is just like. It's just you're really able to play with the dynamic more if he is like a little guy than it is if it's college age Dick Grayson.
Yeah,
and this is such a perfect vehicle for that, to kind of like make him have to step up.
Yep.
And he's so scrappy and so brave, and it's just very charming. And yeah, Matthew does a great job.
Agreed.
Totally.
Yeah, I think again, just to establish him as his own Robin is separate from what we were familiar with the, like you said, the college age Dick Grayson, and how he goes about, like, he is more of a character who's just he's like, all right, well, I'm just gonna run at you, and like he just runs and tackles the Scarecrow. Like he doesn't have a lot of strategy in mind. Like he's just like he's a very like two-fisted character. We've talked about this in the past, that I think the Terry character also has a lot of that in him, and a lot of like Tim Drake in that character's DNA. I think maybe also because Tim Drake had so much Steve Ditko Spider-Man in his DNA, so maybe it's like it's all art building on itself type of thing. But
they're both really Jason Todd adjacent.
Yes,
right?
That too.
And like, because I feel like this version of Tim is so much more Jason than he is Tim.
100%.
Like the comics Tim, yeah. And I, to the point that I wish we just called him Jason in this. Like, I get why we didn't do that at the time, but it's like he is so in the universe, so Jason Todd, especially with the fate that befell him and everything. Just like But yeah, I love this version of Robin. He's great, and Matthew does a great job doing it. So
Yeah, absolutely. I think him, like I said, him getting to like put the finger in Batman's face and be like, "You're not in control. You're gonna screw this up. You're gonna kill some." That's specifically, and I think that is maybe one of the few elements you could point to as more of like a Timish element as far as like the comic book version of like that he has this sort of idolization of what Batman represents, even though he's had this rough upbringing in this version, like where he's like, you're not even afraid to kill someone now. Like I can't be responsible for Batman killing someone for the first time. I have to like keep you wrapped up. Like his like protection of what Batman represents, I think is a nice element to it, along with some of the other ones we've already talked about.
Yeah, this version of Tim also is like the super fan who got the job also. It's like Tim was following them all the time and like putting up pictures of Batman on his wall and stuff. Like he is, if I am teaming up with Batman, we are doing it by the book. Like you are gonna be Batman, dude. You can't half-ass this or be a bad guy. That's the other thing I just thought of too, is the 2 times I've done this with you guys, I've done evil Batman episodes.
Ooh, that's true. That's a very good point. Yeah,
it's so funny. Yeah.
So Justice Lords next time, I guess.
Yeah,
what's our next
right.
one?
I think you're right. Okay, yeah, you got it.
Twist your arm.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's. I'm going to settle my score here now that we've gone through our list. It's everybody's great. Like it's really strong. I had no choice, I felt like, but to give voice acting a 10 out of 10. I think the interactions. I think it's interesting in the interview that we did with Mr. Valencia a couple of months ago, which you can check out in the archives at DCAUreview.com or on your favorite podcast app. He talked about this particular episode and how much fun he had in playing off of Kevin Conroy and kind of getting to, be the hero for the episode, and how much fun that particular scene of him going back and forth with Batman after tying him up was, and enacting that. So maybe that sticks in my brain a little bit. It just the fact that he was also enjoying the performance also, like, and being a 13, 14-year-old kid doing that and coming across so authentically, I think just drives it home for me. So yeah, 10 out of 10 for me. Liam?
Yeah, also a 10 for me. Like I said, I think Mr. Combs is our new Scarecrow is a big part, like I said, of Scarecrow being scary for the first time ever in this DCAU version, at least, and Mr. Combs is part of that too, and like I said, cranky Batman is kind of fun as well. So yeah, between our three leads here, I felt I had no choice. But what about you, Jordan?
Same thing, 10. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, love it. Every year, so true though too that like Scarecrow is such a good part. He might be the only time Scarecrow's been scary is
right.
the Scarecrow. Yeah, great job. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, 10 out of 10.
There you go. All right. Well, let's total up our scores here. And totaling up all, Jordan, I'll do the math for you so you don't have to. Not that it's hard, because you gave 3 10s and a 9, so you're 39 out of 40. Totaling up my scores for the episode, I ended up with 36 out of 40. Liam, what about you?
Yeah, I'm a couple points higher. I had 2 10s and 2 9s, so I'm 38 out of 40. So.
All right, we always discuss rewatchability for this episode. Jordan, something tells me you're going to be like, yeah, I would recommend this, and I'd rewatch this 1,000 times because I have.
Yes. Yep. I was going to say, I might go rewatch this when we're done. I loved this one today.
Do it. Yep.
Yes, I was like,
yeah. Feels like a unanimous across the board here. It's a fun episode. It really, as we talked about numerous times here, it establishes the Tim character in a way that I think is important for this series, but then also if you watch this episode and then you watch Return of the Joker, you understand why it's such a big, impactful moment when what happens to him. So you kind of have to have that background. And we have this new Scarecrow that pops up later on in the episode. So if you're like, why does he look like this? Well, we don't know why he looks like this, but you know who he is then. So yeah, it feels like it's a must watch from all of us.
Totally.
All right. Well, that will begin to wrap us up here. Thank you so much, Jordan, for joining us and nerding out with us for the last hour and change here. It's been a blast.
Anytime.
Absolutely. And before we let you go, we definitely want to make sure folks that are listening know where they can find you on the socials and any other projects you have coming up that you'd like to discuss. The floor is yours.
Cool, thanks. Yeah, you can find me at Gibson Agogo, Gibson AGOGO, and that is on Twitter. I'm gonna call it Twitter forever. It's Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky. Those are the main ones. I just had a couple of covers come out for Boom Studios. I did a cover for VR Troopers and then a cover for Ninja Turtles versus, or no, just Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers, right?
Yes.
Number 3.
Yeah, which is amazing, by the way. Like, go seek out that cover if you're a fan of either of those franchises. We were talking about this before we went on the air, but I was like, Jordan should be drawing he should be drawing Batman all the time first, and then like in your second life, you should be drawing Ninja Turtles all the time.
I would love to do more Ninja Turtles. Yeah, I was saying that too. Like, if any, I ended up doing like 3 or 4 covers of these guys at this point, and they're so fun. Anytime I get to draw them, it's a blast. So yeah, I'd love to do that. Other than that, I don't have a ton to report on right now. Hopefully, some stuff in the future coming up. But I'll continue to post art on all my socials, so come check them out.
That's right, and maybe keep an eye on your socials because I'm sure there'll be cons and stuff in your future.
Yes, I'm gonna have some
in
more.
The new year.
Yeah, gonna try and get some more going there. I had a light year this year, so I might have to pile on some more coming up in 2026. Yeah.
Well, absolutely. Hopefully, people will go out and who listen to this will go out and find you if you're in a town near them in the new year. But yeah, definitely we will post all the links to Jordan's socials in our show notes as well, so folks can make sure they're following you as well. But thank you once again, Jordan, for being on the show.
Yep, thanks guys. Anytime.
Well, thank you so much once again to good friend of the show, Jordan Gibson, for joining us this week, Cal. It's always a blast to have Jordan on. They are every bit the DCAU aficionado and nerd that we are, if not more in some ways. And it's always a blast nerding out with him on this sort of topic here. Exciting to hear about everything that he's working on as well. But that will begin to wrap up our show this week. And we thank everybody for joining us. Once again, the best ways to help us out, we already talked about buymeacoffee.com/DCAU review. Thanks to Zach for the question. But other ways to help us out, you can check in the show notes. There's a link to our store page where you can pick yourself up a shirt, a hat, or a mug or something like that and help us out financially. And of course, there's a bunch of great free ways to support us. That includes following us on the social medias at DCAU Review. That includes making sure you're subscribed to us on your favorite podcast platform, your Spotify's, your Apple Podcasts, your Stitchers, whatever you've got. And if you are already subscribed, make sure that you're also rating us. If your app lets you give us 5 stars, please do. If it lets you leave a review, like on Apple, please do, because that helps us in the all-important search algorithms. And then, of course, also in the show notes is the link to our current YouTube home, where we upload all of our episodes there. We know some people have begun to find us a little bit more on YouTube lately. We appreciate it. We're going to start trying to add more shorts and other things to that as well. But would appreciate if you just went ahead and subscribed to us. Even if you don't listen to us on YouTube, we would appreciate the subscribers, just because you have to hit certain thresholds in order to unlock things like monetization and amount of videos you can be uploaded. We're trying to get our back catalog uploaded there so that the whole show is up there. So that would be appreciated if you could take the time to do that. But Cal, as much fun as we've had this week with Jordan, we're looking forward to next week when we come back with one more new Batman Adventures review for this month of December. And let's talk to the folks about what we'll be reviewing next week.
That's right, Liam. We have another fine episode of the new Batman Adventures coming up. And it is another, maybe all of these are just so memorable because we saw them, I feel like, so many times on those Saturday mornings. All of these episodes are in heavy rotation because there were fewer of them than there were the original BTOS run. But yeah, this one is a memorable one for a lot of reasons. Some really funny lines, some really good stuff from our main antagonist for the entire episode. We're talking, of course, about Joker's Millions, which is another killer/clown episode featuring who else but the Clown Prince of Crime himself, the Joker. What happens when he inherits $1 billion? Well, we'll find out as we discuss Joker's Millions next week on a new episode.
That's right. If you thought the Tony Robbins parody in this week's episode was like a little topical and dated, wait until you see the Johnny Cochran one in that episode. Can't wait. Can't wait to talk about that. And it'll be a blast talking about Joker's Millions with you and with our listeners when we come back next week. But until then, I'm Liam.
And I'm Cal.
And we'll talk to you on the next episode of the DCAU Review.
Bye-bye.